Here is a face of post-traumatic stress disorder right now on PTSD Faces.
So I came into the military, the Air Force, at 17. My parents had to actually sign for me because I was so young, and I knew I wanted to relieve them of worrying about me. And they signed for me to go into the military. I knew it was the right thing to do. My brother said, "You will go into the Air Force, you're not going to go into any other branch." He was in the Navy. I completed 23.5 years and 14 days in the military. I completed 11 years as a logistics officer, and I completed 14 years as an Air Force nurse and was able to retire. No one can ever prepare you for the call when they tell you it's time to go to war. So my first deployment in 2005, I was a single parent of twin daughters, and I knew that call was imminent. I knew at some point I've had all the military training I needed. I knew I was a great nurse. I knew I was the next one to go, so it was just a matter of when was I going to get that call. The trauma that I saw, particularly in 2005, was trauma that I've never seen before. Having to see one amputation is okay, I can deal with one amputation. But then when you see 2 amputations and 3 limbs being amputated and 4 limbs being amputated, I mean, no one can prepare you for that. So having to see that and having to process that, and it was so fast-paced. We had so many troops coming in throughout the night. It was 12-hour shifts. We would always hear the Chinooks and the Blackhawks bringing these guys in, not knowing how many they were bringing in. Not only were they bringing in our soldiers, they were also bringing in the enemy. They were bringing in the insurgents. So we not only had to take care of our own, but we also had to take care of the enemy. And so it was difficult at times to not only see the injuries that our soldiers were going through, but also having to take care of those same injuries on the very people that shot at them and even killed. Initially, I believe because I'm such a great compartmentalizer, I was able to compartmentalize every deployment, at least I thought. I was able to take those events. When I left Iraq, I left them there, or at least I thought. And later, I found that what I was doing was actually putting all my memories in a room and locking the door and throwing away the key. And later, those doors opened. And so basically, I had to deal with all those things that I had compartmentalized from every deployment, because the idea was to leave what we saw, leave the memories that we experienced in those locations. Leave them in Iraq, leave them in Iraq, leave them in Afghanistan, don't bring them home. And in essence, you get home, you're thinking you've done your best to compartmentalize those things, and then they surface. And then you have to deal with them. And sometimes you have to deal with them by yourself. I was diagnosed with PTSD in 2012 when I got back from Afghanistan. And again, I thought I'd compartmentalize everything that I saw in Afghanistan, and my daughters were going off to college that very same summer. I got back in January, they were going off to college in August. And so it wasn't until I was in the house by myself that I started feeling, wow, this is kind of weird. You know, I don't want to go out, I don't want to socialize. You know, why am I having these memories? Why can't I sleep? And I attribute it to the PTSD because I had seen it before. PTSD is very, very prevalent in the military, more than I think the general public is aware. I can definitely say out of all the troops and all of my comrades that went to Iraq with me in 2005, 9 out of 10 of my friends definitely have some sort of symptom of PTSD. Depression, restlessness, hopelessness. A lot of PTSD patients have a sense of committing suicide. There's anxiety. There's hypervigilance. That's one of the symptoms I have. I'm always on hyper alert. PTSD is more profound than the general public is aware. It's definitely a needed subject that we should talk about. There's more people out here suffering than I think the general public is aware. Our next door neighbor may be suffering and we not know, because a lot of people are in hiding because they don't know if there's support groups out there. They don't know who to go to. They don't know who to talk to. They don't even know if there's a solution out there. One thing I'm doing about it is actually promoting this PTSD Faces channel where we're providing content and we're actually allowing people to know that there's help out there. It allows for the public to understand the patient. It allows the public to really know that these patients are still human. They served our country. They can still be great parents. They can still be great spouses. They can still be great daughters and sons, and we need not look at them differently. They're still human, and they can get back to baseline and be great again.
Become more informed. Watch PTSD Faces or give support at ptsdfaces.org.